It's a love story, it's a civil rights story, it's a coming-of-age story. It's a guy who had a huge transition in his life from becoming a stockbroker, a closeted gay stockbroker who was terrified of letting anybody know, his secret, and who came out and lived an incredibly happy life. And even within his paranoia and his tapes about feeling that he was going to be assassinated at some point, still within that, he was so concerned and loved humanity at large. Whether it was Dan White or, the gay next-door neighbor or the union guys or anybody. He embraced everybody, and he was rooting for everybody.
The first time it felt real to me was when I sat down and talked to Gus, and I was like, I'm meeting Gus Van Sant, the famous Gus Van Sant. And Sean Penn said he was going to play Harvey. All of a sudden, it was like, this is really going to happen. I can't believe this is really going to happen.
I think Gus Van Sant is the perfect person to direct this film. To have a director who, with such a beautiful, important body of work, who's openly gay, who has made so many beautiful films and has gotten so many extraordinary performances, because at the core, this is the Harvey Milk story, and the film is going to lift and soar on Sean Penn's performance as Harvey. So Gus seemed to be the exact person you want to direct the movie.
A lot of times they were gay people or gay kids that had been thrown out of their homes in the Midwest, and or wherever else. People from internationally came to the city as well, came to the Castro. Once it was a destination, then it became much more important to have like somebody speak for them, and I think he was one of the ones that was speaking directly for the Castro Street. And I was always hearing that if there was an incident or if there was a specific thing that happened, Harvey was usually there, right up in front, like dealing with it.
I just always wanted Gus to be the director. Partly because he's openly gay, but that was like the least part of it. It was just, he's so brilliant and so kind, and I knew that if Gus were the director, the film would really be about Harvey, not about the director. And I have badgered him for 15 years to make this movie, and he kept saying, bring me the script, bring me the script. And then I met Lance.
I believe it was right after he was elected, and he says, somewhere out there's a kid from San Antonio, Texas, which is where I'm from, who's going to hear that a gay man was elected to public office, and it's going to give him hope. And I just remember losing it. I just broke down crying because, I was very much that kid growing up. And to hear someone like that say that, hey, not only are you okay, but you can do great things. And look at me, I'm sitting up on top of this car, I was elected to public office, and there's nothing that can stop me. And, that's probably the moment that I thought, we got to get this story back out there. We got to continue this message.
And then I was thinking, well, I don't know whether or not I can even be on the set because it will be too painful. But you know what? It hasn't been. It's been the exact opposite. For 30 years or 29 years, I've put like this wall up to protect myself from the pain, because losing Harvey was so painful. It was such a horrible way to lose your friend, your mentor, father figure. He was all of that for me. And so I've blocked it. And by blocking that pain, I blocked all of this fun, great stuff that I've been able to relive.
What I would like people to know is that he was an ordinary man. He was not a saint. He was not a genius. His personal life was often in disarray. He died penniless. And yet, by his example and by his actions, he most certainly changed the world. And again, we see that history is full of examples of ordinary men and women who, by speaking the truth, and by their own courage, do in fact change the world.
Without hope,
life is not worth living, you gotta give him hope. You gotta give him hope.